What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Custom. This is a very special video because this is the first ramp truck video of many. We are switching gears to ramp truck. I know I see sometimes on the channel that, oh, finish something. Well, guess what? We're gonna finish something. This ramp truck is committed to a couple car shows and to a very big, like Canada-wide plus some of the States road trip coming up in a couple months. So definitely stay tuned on this one. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got a ton of work to do. Elio and I have to be efficient to get this done. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications, and join us on this adventure. Let's do it. All right, let's walk around because we've actually done a couple of things so far. I want to also mention that we are proudly supported by Fast Cut and KBC Tools. They're helping us get this ramp truck done. KBC has kindly sent us a big saw that we're going to be able to cut all the pieces for our deck. Fast Cut's helping us out in every kind of way that they've always have. Thank you, huge shout out to those guys, and mention Make It Custom when you buy anything from these guys, especially KBC Tools. There's a promo code, Make It Custom, all capital letters. Just register for their website. They're like nationwide, Canada and the States, and they've just got like a huge array of awesome tools and great service. Fast Cut, obviously, like, that machine is incredible. You've seen us use it all the time. We're gonna use it a bunch today as well. But right now, I wanna show you around the truck because Elio's been hard at work and we're gonna show you what he's done. He's a specialist at doing stainless exhaust and has worked for race car manufacturing shops and that kind of thing. He's built a killer 2-into-1 setup with resonator and muffler. We haven't done the tailpipe yet, but there it is. He's done a bunch of that. We've got a few more things happening inside the cab, cleaned up some wiring. We're really trying to make this thing happen. Check this piece out that Elio 3D printed. How cool is that? Made our floor piece to cover up the massive gross hole that I cut in here. And just kind of like, he's been buttoning up all the little things that need to be done so that we can get the majors happening like today and in the next couple of weeks. So what is left on the truck to get this thing driving and on the road? Right now, we have to do front shocks, we have to do rear shocks, front sway bar, which this truck came with. We're gonna reinstall it now that it's got air ride in a slightly different way so that it fits well. And then the rear is gonna need a sway bar as well. Like, you see how big this truck is. Like, I don't wanna be cranking a corner with these airbags and be hanging like this, right? I'm gonna tell you guys also, we are doing all this with Brent from Halfass Customs as well. So he's gonna come out in, I think, June, beginning of June. And the goal is that together we will finish this thing, make it so that we can go for a long drive, and then we're gonna drive it all the way to Halfass Customs, stopping at Fast Cut CNC on our way in Kamloops. The goal for this video is to get front shocks on this beast. We are gonna have to get shocks in here somehow. The old shocks used to be right here. They used to mount from here to there, and now that we've got this thing lowered all the way, they don't have enough travel, so we're likely gonna build a bracket off of there and get these large, full travel shocks in here. So we basically, like, I looked up Fox shocks and some like massive off-road heavy duty shocks, and like, man, they are expensive. We are just doubling up on some truck shocks. They've got 12 inches of travel, so they're gonna end up coming up like all the way up here. So we've got to put them in such a way where we can steer the tire around the shocks and have really strong brackets. So I'm not sure if we're gonna end up putting like a bit of a hoop here or brace back to that, but we're definitely gonna have to cut off our existing shock mounts and build new brackets. We'll obviously use the Fast Cut CNC for this and make some kind of tower, some kind of dual shock tower on the front. Let's get to work, Elio. I'm about to wash these pieces off. First, I just remove the bulk majority of it by just, you know, kind of hacking the rest of it away. Everybody should have a torch because you can not only heat parts, you can heat nuts and get things off. You can bend metal with it, you can weld with it, you can cut steel with it. But the other beautiful thing is that when you're trying to remove parts from, say, a chassis, and say they're riveted on or they're welded on, you can actually be very delicate with the torch. And some people think, oh wow, like you can't, like if I were to torch that bracket off a rear end, you know, I'm gonna blow into the rear end. Well, no, not really. You have more chance of doing that with a plasma cutter, and I'll tell you why. A plasma cutter works on electrical continuity, right? So like your whole chassis is grounded. All layers of the frame are grounded. So you can blow through multiple layers. With a torch, what is dictating whether or not you can cut is whether or not it's hot enough to cut. These orifices around the tip here, usually with a, you know, you have 6, or you might have more if it's propane. Mine has 6. Those are your preheating orifices. So they are surrounding the center kerf, which is your high pressure oxygen. They make sure that the metal is hot enough to cut. So if you have multiple layers like I have here, there's a layer that I need to get off of this chassis and it's welded around the outside. I can actually cut through that outside layer without damaging the inside layer, because when 2 pieces of metal are touching, but they are not one piece, heat will not transfer between this piece of metal to the inside piece of metal because those outer heating orifices are not preheating that metal. If you practice washing brackets off of a rear end or anything like that, you can actually get quite good at it. So just remove the bulk majority, and then I will angle my torch like this and actually cut through the weld, and it's not gonna damage the inside frame, but it will melt off the outside. Heads up everybody, I'm coming to Australia for the Street Rod Federation Nationals happening in Western Australia. It's gonna be a lot of fun at the end of March, March 23rd and 4th. Come see me there. We're gonna do Q&A sessions. We're gonna do demos. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff and have a great time and enjoy Australia. So thanks a lot, Australian Street Rod Federation, for bringing me out, and we will see you there. We got her cleaned off. I did gouge the frame a tiny bit there, but not worried about it. What's next is gonna be getting our design down for the shocks. So What I've got are some KYB 12-inch travel shocks. I think they're up here. And I dropped the shocks. They're not KYBs, they're Bilsteins. Ooh, they're not ugly yellow. We're gonna have to mount these in such a way where they clear our steering arm as we're turning, and also clears the tire when it turns. So we're gonna have to do dual shocks kind of right in here. I'm thinking like right by this radiator. Elio and I'll figure it out.
As always.
Okay, Elio and I had a chit chat. Procedure-wise, make the bottom of the shock mounts first. We're gonna mount these shocks off of the bottom 2 bolts. I wanna come out with a piece of 1/4-inch wall, you know, just rectangle tube or square tube, and it's gonna come back far enough to get 2 shocks in here. It's actually quite a ways, and that's why we gotta use something very, very strong like that. Elio, do you mind making me a couple tabs in the fast cut? We'll make the bottom shock mount tabs off of that. I will cut a couple of pieces of this that will have 2 holes in it. They're gonna be through holes, so we have 2 bolts with 4 tabs, making our double shear connection to each shock. Should we unpack the saw?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, we're gonna unpack the saw. KBC Tools and King Canada, thank you very much for letting us try out this saw. This is the Nova Eclipse. Check this thing out. This saw I have been struggling with for so long. Do you see this clamp here? You see this clamp? It's because this clamp broke underneath this thing. I called around like a couple of times trying to find parts and I couldn't get it. I'm very excited to try this thing out. It is a 7x12 Nova DVR metal cutting bandsaw. It's actually like a smart saw. I've got to read up more on it and I'll tell you guys all about it and how I like it. It actually has like adaptive cut speed. There's software somehow with it. I don't know. We're gonna unbox this thing and give it a go. Doesn't this thing just come off somehow? Like, can't we just like, oh, there's screws, Oh. We need a ugga-dugga. Henry Ford would like the color of this.
He would like what?
He'd like the color of this saw.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. Swing. I hope this is not something we have to like read instructions first. They send you a cut sample, 20 thou. That's exciting.
Look at how nice that is.
We could cut wheel spacers.
We could cut wheel spacers.
Just slices of like 5-inch thick. Dude, this is too nice for this shop. We got her hooked up. You might need to just give it a firmware update. You go to their website and you download the thing. I don't have the password, so I need the password. So I'm waiting for the password, so I can't use the saw right now, but dang, it's a nice saw. Look at this thing. It's supposed to be very quiet. I don't know, because I can't turn it on. It does all turn on and I can adjust it. It's got, I read up on these things, they're great. They got, you know, different presets and stuff, and it's full variable speed, keeps the same torque no matter what. If I'm gonna continue on making this bracket, I'll have to cut it with my other saw, no big deal. Nice. That works good. It gives us a nice room. So now we can design our tabs. Okay, perfect. Now we've got a nice mounting spot for 2 shocks. I'm gonna drop some tabs. We'll get Elio to cut them on the fast cut. Probably cut little caps for these as well. We don't want that filling with dirt. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Upper shock mounts are cut. Lower shock mounts are cut. We are ready to fab this all together. If you didn't quite understand how those upper shock mounts were gonna go, this giant block of a plate is gonna plug weld to the frame for added strength and weld to the frame. This will slap on the inside of the frame just like the ones that we took off. And the plan is this larger hole one will be in the center. That will hold on to our center tube. These are gonna weld onto the inside of the outer plates. These plates here are just to strengthen up and kind of box in the top. Like, this is all heavy truck stuff, and we've got dual shocks, so it's gonna have a lot of force. We don't want any fatigue. This stuff is lower shocks. So pretend we are looking at the passenger side. This is forward. This is on the outside of the spring perch. So like, wheel is right here, and the rest of the truck is here. This piece will cap the end. Actually, I'm gonna show you this upside down. So that's the first one, and then this plate will go and be an added strength. Just like that, there will be another one here, and here, and here. That is our lower shock mount. And then little cap off the end. Got all these pieces welded up. They are just these massive brackets like that. That's gonna be sitting, maybe the top of the frame will be about here at about 5 inches. We will put the shocks on with them collapsed. It's very important that they clear, you know, for the full travel. That is the unknown right now, is the possibility of the shock moving left and right in here. We're gonna have to try it with some tacks first and then cycle the suspension and see how it is. I also have to weld these little pieces in. The reason I left those out for the entirety of welding all this is that if you've got these pieces in here and we're doing all this welding, they're manipulating the material, and if you know, I tacked these in first and then did all this welding, the chance of a bolt sliding through 3 really, you know, well-fit tubes is almost none. I do notice now that I don't really have a lot of room in here. I was originally gonna do, you know, just 2 bolts, but I don't have a ton of room. So I'll have to get some more of this tubing so that I can actually stick that tube inside there and run a full bolt through the whole thing. Let's get this done. Everything takes longer than I think it should. You know, I thought this was gonna get done yesterday, it didn't, and now we're at the end of today and it's, you know, I'm working overtime. First mock-up is actually looking sweet. I got this wheel cranked to lock right now, and we got tons of clearance. I just gotta make sure the placement is right on these. I'm actually gonna get the other side put on the same way. And if you're wondering, no, I'm not gonna leave ready rod in here. I'm actually gonna get proper bolts. We still have to tack it on and make sure that it doesn't touch in here because there's not much clearance there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. And it just kind of like looks kind of badass. So let's get her done. I'm a sucker for punishment and shortcuts, so I'm just gonna force this down and tack it. Okay, we got ground. It's a tack. It's tack. How does it look? It looks like a tack. I think I got lucky. Shocks look nice and parallel with the plates, which is good. That's a nice thing. We're probably at about ride height right now. I really like the way it looks. And let's go a little higher. We clear. Yes! The only thing that I'm thinking about that I did not check, which may or may not be an issue, is I think this stuff might not clear this stuff. I don't know. I don't fully know yet, but that is where those shocks need to be. So I am going to actually probably tack the other side on in the exact same spot. Then we'll bring the cab down, and if we have to clearance a little bit of the tin that's surrounding that, I don't think it'll be an issue. So yeah, this is exactly where I want it. All right, everybody, coming to Australia, and I'm doing a metal shaping workshop at BENNETTS Kustoms. There are 10 spots available. This is a profiling and basics metal shaping workshop. We're all gonna build the profiling machine. I'm shipping 10 of those over as we speak. We're gonna learn about building tooling for the machine, as well as day 2, we're gonna do shrink, stretch, form on basic metal shaping. We're gonna use all kinds of different machinery and hand tools. We're gonna do tucking with the hand metal shaping stump, as well as hammer and dolly technique. We're gonna do heat shrinking. We're gonna use the English wheel. We're gonna do planishing hammer, sandbag. My goal is that everybody walks out of this course with an understanding of shrink, stretch, and form, and the different tools that they can use to achieve them. So I hope to see you there. Don't forget to get your spot. There's only 10 of them there, japhandskustoms.com. Thanks a lot, everybody. Can't wait. We'll see you over there. Okay, yeah, we're hitting the tin on the one side. It's definitely not gonna hit on this side. We were gonna trim the other side anyway. I'm gonna call that a success. Yes, I'm gonna have to trim some of that. Next up on this thing is the sway bar. We're gonna put a sway bar in the front, sway bar in the back, dual shocks in the back still. There's a bunch more fab that we're gonna get on, but I'm gonna call this one a success. It's kind of harder than I thought it was gonna be, but we got dual shocks on here. We got all the travel we need. One step closer to getting this thing on the road. So I want to thank you all for watching and supporting, subscribing, liking, commenting. Please, if you wouldn't mind, you could do something for me, is hit the subscribe button and leave a comment and a like. That is all free stuff that will help the channel reach more people and help me create better content. Thank you Fastcut, KBC, for supporting as well. We're just gonna keep cranking on this thing until it's like a driving thing. Anybody that has said, hey, you don't finish anything, you're right. But I'm gonna prove you wrong. Next time on Make It Kustom.